So for all those guys who want to get into e-commerce, start selling online, I think one of the important things that you should know uh, while getting into e-commerce is you should identify what are the reasons why people buy online. You should also know what are the reasons why people do not buy online, so that it might help you in terms of your product selection, in terms of identifying your USP, in terms of identifying your sales pitch, in terms of creating ad copies, and also understanding what you could be expecting out of your e-commerce store. And it might also help you in understanding who should be your target audience, who could be your target audience. So some of the reasons that people buy online would be: one, which is about product availability, especially for products which are easily accessible in metros and urban cities. A lot of them are not available in tier 2 and 3 cities. While people still have aspirations to get the best of the brands, they might still have money, but they might not have the product availability, which is where a lot of e-commerce companies encash in, and they have a substantial amount of revenue coming in from the tier 2 and 3 cities, because of the availability of the product made by the e-commerce platform. So one of your USPs could be that you're making a product which is not available in the market. uh, the second reason that people could buy product online is for exclusive offers, which we all understand in terms of discounts, in terms of the cashback. But then that's not necessarily that everyone might be able to offer an exclusive deal. Depends on what's the sourcing cost and how much of margin you have to offer it to the customers. However, as of now, that's one of the other aspects that stays, that looks appealing to a lot of customers who buy online. So I think exclusive offers still will have a lot of weightage. However, that will be a function of the business. Convenience is one of the biggest. Uh, I think one would be one of the biggest reasons that people buy online. The convenience could be with respect to the travel time, because it saves a substantial amount of time traveling back and forth to the shop. People like to buy hassle free. So typically in a shop, you might have queues for payments, you might have queues to check products, and in the online, there are no queues. It's hassle free, it saves time. So people buy for convenience. And then a lot of times, I typically, when I walk into a mall, it takes a lot of time for me to screen through multiple products. They have a huge collection there, but to walk around all the products and to find the best amongst them is a painful task, because you're looking at all the products, and then some point of time you're tired. You might not look at all of them again. So I think scanning through a wider selection of uh, options in the online at your comfort is another reason that a lot of people buy online. However, a lot of people now slowly have also started talking about uh, too many choices confusing an online seller, an online buyer. So basically, when you have so many choices, you're confused as to what you want to buy. And that's why a lot of small e-commerce stores might have their chances over the bigger ones, because they might have very assorted collection of maybe the best things that they can offer, and it is less consuming confusing for the customers to buy. So basically, scanning through a wider selection could be one of the reasons, but a little more could again work as a drawback. So if you're running an e-commerce, probably offering a selection is a good idea. However, to the extent that it should not confuse it to the users. uh, the ability to shop 24 by 7 is one of the another benefits, because you can shop it at your own convenient time, whenever you have time, you place an order. So yeah, 24 by 7 works. uh, you get everything at one place, so you don't have to walk into multiple stores. Like I said, you keep walking around in the mall to look at 10 different places, to go to 10 different shops and buy product, but here at one place itself you get, so it again saves your time, it's convenient. So yes, convenience is one of the another reasons that people buy online. uh, then discrete shopping for a lot of products, which people might not be very comfortable buying it in public places. So typically, let's say the undergarments, and or maybe there could be other products that people would not buy it in public. So then online is an excellent place for them to buy those products. So as an e-commerce entrepreneur, probably discrete products, e-commerce could be one of the successful products that you could be selling online. So product replacement and refund. So for a lot of people, it's easier because it's hassle free. People, you place a you want to replace something, you place an order, the customer comes, the guy comes, picks up the product, takes the product back, the money comes to your account. So it's hassle free. Vis-a-vis a typical shop or a offline store, you have to walk into the store, and it takes time, you have to be in the queue, so you have to spare some time exclusively only for replacement, which is time consumption. And so I think online has some advantage there, which means as an e-commerce entrepreneur, for you, if this is also one of the reasons that people buy online, you have to make your refund and replacement process hassle free. If you're going to create a series of uh, forms and processes which might eventually bug the customer, he might not come back to you again. So for an e-commerce store, product replacement and refund policy is one of the very important aspects as to why people will buy at your store. If the process is hassle free, it's simple, convincing, people will buy it from you. If it's painful, you will lose your customers. uh, then comparison shopping is another good reason that people buy online, because if I were to compare 10 different products or 10 different brands offline, I might have to walk into 10 different stores, which will take a lot of my effort in terms of course, my stamina, my energy and resources, and my time as well. While in the online space, I can compare multiple products. So comparison could also be a good idea while you're selling a product, especially for smaller players in the early stages. If you could compare, if you could put some kind of comparison over your USPs about your product or the way that you product or your services, maybe that could be another reason that people could buy it from you. uh, and one of the other reasons could be reviews from the past shoppers. When I say reviews, because in the offline store, you might just get the feedback from the salesman or probably whatever you've heard. But in the online space, you can check a lot of reviews. So if I'm an e-commerce and I aggregate a lot of reviews about a product on my store itself, be it my customers or customers who shop the product from across anywhere, but as long as there are reviews available in the public domain, I can get them on my e-commerce store. It'll also help the person decide in buying the product on my store itself. So to give you a perspective, let's say I have a product page and I have reviews from my own customers about a particular product, a generic product. I'm not the manufacturer. I'm just a seller. So there could be other guys who are selling it online, and there would be genuine reviews about the product online, about the product, not about the store. So in that case, if I could aggregate all those reviews on my store itself, so that people might not have to go to various review sites to get the product review, I think that could be a good validation for people to buy it from my store, because they itself, on my page itself, I'm able to convince them about the product. And of course, reviews about us will always help in getting customers buy it from us as well. So some of the reasons that people buy online, you could use one of these to lure your customers to build your e-commerce store, to create a specific niche for yourself, and to create a specific your story, sales story for your product, your brand. At the same time, it might also make sense to understand why people buy certain products from offline store. And if you could have some of those uh, objections mitigated within your e-commerce store, you might be able to lure some additional percentage of people to your e-commerce store. So basically, some of the reasons that people might not shop online would be the touch and feel experience, which is absolutely perfect with a lot of products, especially in the uh, in the custom consumer durable space. So that's why you look at a lot of e-commerce stores now giving the actual size of the mobile phones on the store itself. That's more about the touch and feel. Because earlier people would not have much idea as to what could be the dimension of the product, but now at least you can have some idea on how it is. However, still a lot of people who are online shoppers are unsatisfied because the product that they saw something on the online store, typically in terms of the clothes, the feel might not be there, and when they buy they would say like, okay, this is an inferior quality. The perception would have been of something else. So that's one of the reasons that people do not shop online. Uh, a lot of people want to try it before buying, especially with apparels. You want to see whether it fits your body because it's going to be custom made for everyone. I mean, the sizes are standard. However, everyone wants to see which one fits. So you try hundreds of those apparels before you decide some of them to be bought. So that's something which is missing online. However, some of the e-commerce stores have tried to resolve this. If you go to something like Lenskart, they have this try-on tool to see if how the lens frames would look on your face. So there are people who are trying, how this is going to look on your body. But yes, so if you understand you are in a business wherein touch and feel is of utmost importance, as an online store, you will have to try and resolve this as a problem. So that could be another reason people do not shop online. uh, Trust could be another reason. Every few days you have some stories of people being fooled by some online player. So unless and until people do not trust, they don't buy. And hence, with a physical store, there is someone who's going to be there at any point of time to manage your complaints, to resolve your complaints, and eventually, there's some physical presence you can always go and talk to. In the online case, you don't know who's the person behind it, uh, where the organization is, who's running it, where the money goes, and tomorrow if you have any grievance, who do you connect with? And I think it's a very important aspect for an e-commerce to build that trust, to ensure that people start believing that there's some genuine people behind it, and end of the day there's someone who's going to help them in terms of expectations not being met by the e-commerce store. So it might make sense to have a physical address on the website. It might make sense to have a physical contact number if you're a small player, so that people could talk to you. It might make sense to connect with them over a WhatsApp or an SMS, to build that trust, for people to ensure there is some genuine people behind the e-commerce platform, so that tomorrow, in case of any failed expectations, there is someone that you can reach out to. So that is another reason that a lot of people go and buy it from the offline store. Uh, then delivery time is definitely one, because I myself would have bought a lot of mobile phones, but most of them have been, I wanted it instant, because the earlier mobile phone would have probably stopped functioning, or probably I lost it somewhere and I would need it instantly. And hence I do not trust the online guys, because normally they would take about 2-3 days. So it's a lot of times my purchase have been impromptu, unplanned, especially with the mobile phone categories and certain other categories wherein people might not be able to wait for those long delivery hours. So that's one of the reasons that people go and buy it in an offline store, which also adds another possibility to an e-commerce store. If you are a local player within a category, and you're able to deliver a commitment, if you're able to commit a delivery within an hour's time, you might be able to take on the bigger guys, because the bigger guys will take about 24 hours to deliver, minimum 24 hours to deliver with their network. As a small player, you might be able to deliver it within hours in your catchment area. And at least as an e-commerce player, you could safeguard your business within the catchment area. So delivery time could be one of the greatest USPs that, as a small e-commerce player, people could play with, uh, to compete with the online guys and even the offline guys as well, if you're able to deliver the product within a delivery time frame. Uh, Typically, for a lot of high value products, people normally prefer to go and buy it online, because again, it's a one-to-one interaction, physical interaction. You have someone to trust with that kind of money. So for e-commerce websites selling high value products, you will have to focus a lot on building that trust of people so that they can handle over that amount of money to you. So probably in that case, maybe cash on delivery, or upfront amount of money could be a lot of risk. So you'll have to work around your strategies around that mindset that the customer has the product and then the customer pays the money. So yeah, some kind of booking amount is a good strategy. Not the entire amount. Let the other remaining amount could be collected on delivery. So that's with the high value products. And then again, for a lot of online stores, they have a very complicated return and refund policy. Now that a lot of bigger guys have made it very simple, the Amazon, the Flipkart, they've made it simpler. But for a smaller player, if you do not make it simpler, you are going to lose a customer and a potential customer for lifetime also. So basically, if you the more you simplify the return and refund policy, the better you could be as an e-commerce player. So these are some of the reasons that people buy online and do not buy online. How this helps you as an e-commerce is, you take all of these as a cue and see which one fits into your product, and how you could strategize your policy, what kind of products you should market, which regions that you should target if you understand the customer psychology. So hope this information might add some value in getting your e-commerce store started. Thank you.